If this video found you, I want you to know that that was the algorithm telling you that you need to hear this. So here we go. Here are 5 lessons I learned from getting fired. Lesson number 1, there is no such thing as job security. I know everyone likes to say that, oh, this job is going to work out and everything will be okay. I used to believe that too. Job security is a complete and utter delusion. I'm not going to say illusion. I'm just going to say delusion, because as someone who used to think that job security existed, things would just work out. If you work hard and try your best and you have a lot of merit and you continue to impress people, you'll just stay with the company and just continue to go up and up. That is not the case at all, as I learned the hard way. What you need to understand is you are as replaceable as the level you are. And everyone, no matter their level, is at least a little bit replaceable. I know this is hard to hear, but that is how corporations are structured and that is how they work. For example, if you are a base employee up to a senior level of employee, you are easily replaceable. And I know everyone who, maybe is a senior or an intermediate is like, oh no, that doesn't hold true for me. I don't fall into that category. I can tell you they will be able to replace you relatively easily. I'd say within a month if you actually are fired. And on top of that, they will not be looking for, the same caliber as you. They just want someone to fill the position. And that's all that matters to them. So you need to remember that you are holding on to this job by a string. If you are anywhere from basic to intermediate to senior, and you are not in any management position, you are not in any position to act like you are important. Okay. Regardless of what you do, regardless of the power you hold, regardless of how much influence you have at the company, all of those things are irrelevant because of the title you hold. So I just want that to be very clear. On top of that, if you are a manager, you are also pretty easily replaceable. I know this might hurt. I know some people might have worked really hard to get to a manager role, but I have seen managers come and go all the time, be fired for very small misdemeanors, let's say, and they are replaced within a week. Like, it is ridiculous how many people, especially these days, companies have a plethora and a long list of people they are wanting to hire as soon as someone goes. So honestly, they will think of your removal as an opportunity for them. So do not place your bets on the company believing in you or thinking that you're what is required to achieve their goals. You are just a cog in the machine. As well, for directors, you are maybe a bit harder to replace. Let's say a month or 2 months, maybe. These days, it might be a little harder, but at the end of the day, if you do something that hits enough people's egos or steps on enough toes, they will not care about letting you go. And they will 100% do it and rip off the Band-Aid, and you will not be expecting it. So always be on edge and always realize that tomorrow could be your last day, and live like that. I think you'll live a lot better and you'll work a lot harder, or not. You'll work to the degree that you should, essentially. As well, for VPs and C levels, this is a little bit harder to replace. I'd say maybe up to 3 months. But if you are doing a bad enough job, or they have enough of a infraction list that you are someone they want to fire, you're going to be gone regardless. And, there might be constant ego padding going on in your office. That's not some sort of like golden rope that allows you to stay with the company forever. I've seen C levels get absolutely wiped out. I've seen VP levels get absolutely leveled in acquisitions. So just because you have some fancy title does not make you important. So I want to make that very clear. The hardest level probably to replace is a board of directors. These individuals would be very hard to replace, but not impossible. So given your behaviors and given ructions with the group, they would be more than willing to fire your ass if the time came and the opportunity presented itself. On top of that, if there is an acquisition or something and you are a company that is getting acquired because of how bad your books have been and how bad your company has been performing, and you are essentially in the begging on your knees praying company in the acquisition, you are on a very, very fine string, spider silk thin. To believe that you are going to make it through is it's a false belief. Basically, the chances you do make it through are very low. If you have been on a board of directors of a company that has been failing, the acquiring company considers you a failure. It's that simple. So just remember those things. Just remember, as a whole, you are a wage slave if you work for a wage at a corporation. Titles do not warrant respect, and they mean nothing in the real world. They can be easily earned through all of these different social programs that just hyper insert people with no merit. You know the ones I'm talking about, but it is so incredibly easy to become a manager or a director or a VP of a company just by one, staying with the company long enough that everyone else who's eligible and better than you leaves or is terminated, and you just happen to fall into the spot. I'd say that's about 50% of VPs, directors, and managers. And number two, if they are in that position, it's possible they were hyper inserted through some sort of social tax benefit program, and they're not there because the company believes in them or believes they're capable. They're there for a tax break for the company, and this occurs a lot. Also, you need to remember that everyone lies on the resume at least once. I have never met a successful person or a successful person who has not lied on their resume at least once. It is utter and complete bullshit. No one can confirm what you did at your last job because it's a violation of an NDA. So no one actually asks in reality. And on top of that, if they do call and they call as a reference, they might like generalize things, but they also don't want to throw you under the bus in case you violated your NDA in the actual construction of your resume, because that would cause you to, be prematurely terminated if you're applying from that job, which they don't want as a new potential employer. They want to start off on a good foot for you. They are very careful about what they say. And essentially there's this gray area where you can just make up whatever you want and everyone will believe you because there is no cross-checking or validation. And the chances that there is so low that you might as well risk it. And lots of people do. And because of that is why meritocracy is dead. It is not real. The world does not operate in a meritocracy model anymore. I wish it did. Once upon a time when the boomers were around, maybe it did, but that world is long gone. And people are in the positions they are because of their grit and their sliminess and the perceived competence that people attribute to them. So just remember, your job is on a spider silk string, and at any time someone can cut it with a pair of scissors. So do not believe there is job security because it does not exist. And just remember, as a corporate standpoint, if you are not lining your own pockets with money, you are always lining someone else's. The only way to line your pockets is to work for yourself, as any entrepreneur knows. High incomes and successful personal businesses comes with high suffering, and the majority of the population is not willing to endure that level of suffering. So they'd rather mitigate it by working for someone else, making someone else rich, and at the end of the day, having their entire livelihood at risk. And it is a risk. You can be terminated at any time. Your life and your salary hangs in the balance of someone who is only interested in profits at the end of the day, because that's what a CEO is motivated by. That is what a CEO's primary prerogative is as a operator of the company. They are there to create the most amount of profits because they founded that business, one, to make themselves as rich as humanly possible, and two, to provide a product or service that has immense value to circle back to one, make them as rich as humanly possible. So if you interfere with any of those two things, or they believe they can be more profitable without you, they will be. Lesson 2 I learned from being fired. Social Security and EI are a joke. They are useless. Even if you were at the highest earning bracket, you are barely getting by on EI. So do not rely on it. You have to have a massive nest egg saved up for the possibility that you are terminated if you are on a salary or a wage. The EI payments compared to what you are paid afterwards are basically theft. They're stealing way more from you to put in the pot to support everyone than you earn and contribute on an average salary. if you are a relatively high earner. Like I'd say anywhere over $60,000 a year, you are paying more into EI than you are getting back if you are terminated. I just want to make like it's incredibly low, the amount that's paid out. Just go search up the maximum amount of EI that you can get, and you would be amazed at how little it is and how little of your expenses it could probably cover if you actually have to go that route. So you have to be very careful and cognizant of this. I would advise to have at least 1 year of total savings that covers a monthly minimum expense for you for that entire year. So calculate your monthly minimum, the lowest possible you could go bootstrapping your money and paying for, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your groceries, your car payments, etc. Get that number, times it by 12, and that's how much you need to be saving up or having in a nest egg in the case that you are terminated, because you can't rely on EI. If you're a contractor, you definitely can't, because you're not going to be eligible for EI. So you're going to be out on your ass if you don't have something saved up. So you need to be dedicating your money to that. And on top of that, it gives you way more of a runway to get your life back together afterwards. And that is extremely important. You will be in an absolute hellhole the moment you are terminated. So I don't want to sugarcoat this. It's not some vacation where you finally get to de-stress and everything's better. You are basically going to be put to the rocks, and you're going to have to swim to a better place. And that takes an immense amount of effort. So I want you to account for the fact that you might not be okay afterwards, and you need to have a lot of economic runway to make sure that you can mentally recover, so you'll be able to physically recover, because it happens, and I've seen it happen, and I've watched it happen. So you need to be ready and able to anticipate that. You need to operate off of the protocol that you will be fired next month. I think that would be the best way to think about this and increase your chances of survival and success after a possible termination. Yes, you can sue them after if it's, unjust cause or whatever. But in the case that it is just cause, in the case that you don't have the finances to retain a lawyer, you need to be ready and willing to support yourself, and you need to anticipate being fired next month. So you need to live like that. You need to buckle down on your expenses, buckle down on your savings if you don't have a lot of savings, and you need to build it up to create protection for yourself in the case that it does happen. And if it doesn't happen, congratulations, you have a ton of savings. Good job. It can only help you. So you need to be careful of that. Spending outside of your means is for entrepreneurs and not for wage slaves. So I want you to get this through your head. If you're on a salary or you on a wage, you should never be spending outside of your means, because you are putting yourself at risk of becoming massively in debt the moment you are unemployed. And as AI advances and more jobs are automated, there are going to be mass layoffs for the next, I'd say, decade. And I know everyone's fear-mongering about this and making everyone scared, but they're not wrong. I work as a software engineer. It is bad. It's people in my industry already are starting to be laid off. If people in my industry who do the automations are being automated, as soon as they have some sort of robotics, like just look up the Tesla Bot 3 if you're unaware of what's going on. But they're going to automate physical labor at such a quick rate that there will essentially be no more physical labor jobs in about 20 years. So if you are a barista or if you are a construction worker, this is the time to get your stuff together, start learning new skills, start evolving. There is no longer a industrial boomer reality that allows you to just continue to do the same thing forever. That's unless you're an automation engineer somehow, that doesn't apply to you. You have to evolve, you have to get new skills, you have to progress, and you have to be willing to learn, because those are the people who will survive the coming years. And I want to make this very, very clear. Make sure that is you, because if it's not, someone else will do it. Lesson number 3, have an arsenal of opportunity. You need to have your resume up to date at least every 3 months. Put a task in your schedule and continue to keep it up to date. The moment you are terminated, you will have a massive sapping of all of your energy that will occur. The world will come crashing down on you, and the last thing you want to do is update your resume. So you need to be keeping on top of it. So the update that you do have to do is extremely minor, and you already have all of the major points. On top of that, you need to be constantly doing outreach to other companies. This is really critical. If you are unable to get contacts and get in conversations with people almost the day after you get terminated, you are not prepared enough for your unemployment or a reality where you are unemployed. You need to be on top of it constantly, networking constantly, going to events, getting people's business cards. You need to also be following up with these people every 3 to 6 months. And no, this is not being paranoid. This is being intelligent. Again, you are a cog in a machine. A cog can be replaced at a moment's notice. A cog can fail at a moment's notice. You do not need to be thrown aside and cast in the dustbin when you can easily move to another corporation that you have a connection with. So just remember to always be networking, essentially be explaining that you're a hard worker, you're always tenacious, and the corporation you're working at doesn't really seem to be giving you what you want. Even if it is, you don't need to be purporting the idea that you're going to stay there forever. And when you're telling this to others that you think will help you out in a scenario like that, you need to reiterate that fact. So when it does inevitably happen, which it will, everyone gets fired. And if you don't get fired, you're going to. Sorry to burst your bubble. I have yet to meet someone who's worked for 40 years or a 30-year career and has not been terminated. Sure, maybe they're the 1%. Congratulations, but you're also super lucky. Maybe you just dodged a lot of bullets because you moved companies quickly. That can also occur. It's a constant battle, and one day it's going to catch up with you. So I'd wish that wasn't the case, but eventually you will be replaced by someone better than you, or at least that the corporation thinks is better than you. Are they actually? Debatable, but it's going to happen. So you need to be prepped in that situation. And like I was saying, you need to be going to networking events while you are employed, not unemployed, employed. You don't want to wait until the bullet hits. Okay, you need to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and you need to be actively and proactively pursuing other options, because if you do not have other options, you're going to have to pick from garbage and rot. So if you don't want to be at the bottom of the barrel begging for help that they will inevitably pay you less at, that will be less rewarding, that will not be as fun, that will not be as invigorating of a career as you had before, you need to be proactively looking for them, writing them down, keeping in contact with those people, and you will inevitably have to call on them. And when you do, you will thank your lucky stars you have contacts. And the thing is, even if you call on them, I'd say 1 in 5 of them will help you. So you need to build an arsenal of it, and you need to be prepared for the inevitability that one day you will be terminated. And maybe if you're prepped and you have everything in order and you're constantly doing this, you never will be. And that's fantastic. That's what I want for you. I don't want you guys to suffer like this. But if you do, and if you're in this hole already, that's what you need to do. You need to put in the work. You need to grind. If you're behind, catch up. It's really how it is. The world is a merciless place. There are very few people that will help you when you're down. They would rather help someone who is already up. And that's just the cold hard truth of it. You also always need to be upgrading to a higher income, as most people know these days, or at least my generation and younger. The only way you actually get a promotion is you have to go laterally to another company. There's no way internally you will ever be promoted to a place where you are earning more than another corporation that would poach you. That's just a fact. People are always willing to pay their monkeys less and less. And once again, you're a cog in the machine. Cogs are replaceable. If you don't want to work for that wage, someone else will. Times are tough. They definitely will. So you need to be constantly upgrading and leveling up your career. And if you do not think the wage or salary you are currently at is what you are worth, or what you should be striving, what you should be earning in your mind, you need to be thinking about, how do I find something that is? And through this networking, through mentoring, through getting people's business cards, being able to evolve and iterate on your own career, you're going to get to a place that's much better and much safer. And on top of that, you're going to also have a lot of options in case you have to jump ship, and you have a life raft all ready to go, and you just take it. You basically always need to have a full house of cards in your hand at all times, And you need to operate as such as well. Like, don't let people give you flack. Don't let stupid managers and like people who are above you, their insane egos, which have been inflated over the years because everyone else has left and they just got handed the position as the default dumbass. They are children. Usually they have like the mind and the EQ and the development of an adolescent. Do not take flack from them because no one else will respect you in the company. And that's like a death sentence. So if you have other options and you can jump ship at any time, that makes it incredibly easy to not be talked down to by these types of people. And you can put them in their place. And you know, if things happen, whatever, you can just move on and go to a better place. Like, it's not like they can. Like, they're too busy clinging on, like leeching off this golden cow that they've been sitting on for like 20, 30 years as like, again, the default dumbass who is the only person who is around that's remotely eligible for the job. And the company doesn't want to go searching for a better person because they'd rather be cheap. The person who iterates and evolves and continues to grow will always be better than that person. Like, that is a fact of life. And I want you to be the iterator. I don't want you to be the person leeching off the golden cow. That's no way to live. It's disgusting, honestly. Anyone who's worth their salt will never respect a person like that. And they will never really achieve anything in their life because they're so minimum effort, minimum accountability, barely making it to where they were in the first place, that they're never going to be able to make it above that point. So, and I've seen them, like, they've been passed over for like C-level positions when they've been VP for 5 or 10 years. And then they get all upset and butthurt. It's like, yeah, what did you think, buddy? Like, you barely made it here. You need to be constantly evolving and you need to have discipline and double down. And just remember, a lack of discipline is self-hatred. Again, a lack of discipline is self-hatred. It's that simple. Lesson number 4, avoid ego-driven bosses and coworkers. This is a major one that I wish I had been told earlier. I thought that everyone was reasonable. Everyone wanted to improve the company, improve the bottom line, allow for a more fluid structure within the organization to exist, allow for processes that are failing and not doing well to be iterated upon and improved constantly so things can get better for everyone and the organization and it can make more profit. People do not think like that. Like, the boomers and Gen X especially are the laziest people I have probably ever encountered. They are so unwilling to change. They're so unwilling to fix broken things that when they have to, it is like ripping stitches out of a wound for them. They're probably going to be the most impacted by the AI automation because of their lack of ability to learn new things and lack of ability to change at a fast rate. For us and people younger than us, we will be fine for the most part. We will be taking their jobs essentially, and they will be early retired or force retired at a earlier age than they anticipated because they are no longer valuable in the learning, iterating, and advancing society that's going to exist in 5 to 10 years. Just remember that thinking everyone is as motivated and dedicated as you to aiding and improving the company and the employee experience is a false perception. Most of those people don't exist. Most of the people are incredibly lazy. They're there to punch cards. They get in, they punch their card, they clock their hours, they do the bare minimum amount of work, and they clock out. Like, that is the average employee. Anticipate that your ideas, if you are trying to do those things, will be met with massive resistance to the point where you may be terminated for them because they would rather fire you and hire someone who just plays along with the status quo and pads their ego and just does the same shit they've been doing for years and years and years, rather than actually improve themselves, improve the company, and iterate. And it's ironic because the C-level executives in the board would love something like that, but they don't understand that they have basically hyper-inserted leeches from the VP level down, and all of those people will always do the bare minimum. And yes, there are some people who are fighters, some people who punch through the ranks and get up, but they have to operate very, very carefully. They're playing a game of chess when everyone else is playing checkers. And if they mess up the game of chess, they're gone. So you need to have a lot of finesse when it comes to presenting ideas if you are going to do it, which I don't recommend it. If you don't believe the organization is capable of understanding some of those ideas, that means that you are in the wrong place and you need to go to a better company. I'm going to tell it to you straight. That means you are in a dead-end job and nothing you ever want to happen is going to occur there, and you need to level up and you need to go somewhere else that appreciates you and your ideas and your ability to iterate. And there are places like that. Trust me. Most of them are startups, actually. But evolution includes evolving past the job. Do it. Just do it. Rip the Band-Aid off, start applying elsewhere. You'll be happier for it. Your life will be better. I promise. And again, just as I don't know why I need to keep reiterating this, but your coworkers are not your friends. They are associates. They are there to be card punchers, paper pushers, clock punchers. Like, they do not care as much as you do. And if they did, they wouldn't be in the position they are. So I want you to remember that you are likely one of the highest achieving and hardest working people that even exist at the company. And you need to watch your step because the snakes are in the grass. And there are tons of people with massive ego issues, tons of people with jealousy issues. They have the EQ of a 5-year-old. They have the mental development of a 10-year-old. They are not like you. So you need to stop believing that everyone is just this massive, intelligent, hyper competent, high EQ person that would agree with you, because most people are not and will not. And they will hurt you when given the opportunity. So you need to be protective of yourself. As I've discussed previously, all of these steps are how to protect yourself in this case. And on top of that, avoid situations like getting fired. You should not reveal anything about your personal life. It will completely come back to bite you, and people will use it against you. Do not invite coworkers over for dinners or out for drinks. Do not talk about your family life. Do not talk about your pets even. Just try to remove any emotional or personal aspect from the clone of you that goes to your job. You go to your job to perform the tasks and the functions required of you, and then you leave. You do not involve yourself with people. You do not try to build relationships and make friends. That's not what a job is for. You can do that at your extracurriculars, at your dodgeball group. You can do that at your book club. You do not do that at work. It is childish and foolish to think that your coworkers are your friends. They are not your friends. Lesson number 5 is reformat your life. This means when you get unemployed, or even before you are, you need to rip the parts of yourself out that are not serving you. This includes quitting drinking, quitting smoking, quitting any bad habit that pulls you down, starting to meal prep every meal, no exceptions, going to the gym 5 days a week, no exceptions. You are no longer on a holiday. You are unemployed. You are in the gauntlet. You need to start acting like you were in the gauntlet. And on top of that, even if you are employed, I think you should still act like you're in the gauntlet, because times are changing and things are going to be rough coming up. So everyone needs to buckle down and get their stuff together. You need to get in incredible shape. You need to be constantly planning your week. You need to be actively working and pursuing new skills in your off time. You should, for every hour of Netflix, you should be doing 2 hours of studying and work on a side hustle, a new project. It can even include like learning how to cook better. I would include that as an essential building skill. You need to be pursuing, you can do your passions or whatever, but your passions need to be able to make money, and you need to be able to buckle down in those passions when they aren't making money and when they are making money, and be able to handle those ebbs and flows. Because sometimes people will be like, oh, I do this hobby and whatever. And when they monetize it, it's not as fun anymore. And then they quit. You can't quit. I'm sorry, you can't quit anymore. There's no reality where if you have something good going for you monetarily, you should give it up, because you are putting yourself at massive risk in the near future. And you need to be ready and willing to evolve and continue to be diligent, even if it's hard, because the hardest things in life usually have the best rewards. So that will be what will keep you afloat in the coming years. On top of that, you need to be dressing to the nines every day. You need to be presentable. You need to be acting like you are a CEO that is going to a board meeting every day. You need to be waking up, polishing your shoes, putting on your dress slacks, putting on your tie. You know, if you're a female, then, putting on like a blazer, putting on like a work blouse, doing your hair, doing your makeup, getting everything in order, brushing your teeth, like using Listerine or some sort of mouthwash, TheraBreath, and being as presentable as humanly possible, because you never know when opportunities will hit you. One time I actually had a contact that I got a job through that I interacted with or bumped into at a Costco. And I just happened to be very dressed up at that time because I was following these principles, and it actually helped. So you never know when an opportunity to drag you out of the dirt will present itself. So you need to be acting like you've already achieved the thing and you are embodying it, and people will be more willing to help you. Like I said, people are more willing to help someone who's already doing well than to help someone who is not. And that's a rough truth of life, but it is how it is. Also, the moment you're terminated, you need to be practicing interviews with friends, probably day of or day after. You need to get back in the gauntlet. You need to get back in the grind. It's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder. So you need to make it hard for yourself. Remember, choosing to suffer, either you choose to suffer or the world chooses how you will suffer. There are two options. So in my mind, I think it's very clear. Choosing your own suffering is always going to be better than the suffering the world chooses for you. In that case, just continue to make yourself suffer in a good way, obviously, like waking up early, grinding all day, putting on nice clothes, meal prepping, doing all the things that no one wants to do and aren't glamorous and aren't fun and aren't, watching Netflix all day and smoking weed and crying about your situation. Like, none of that's going to happen for you. Okay. You're going to actually get your stuff together because you found this video. So I know that you are more than capable of doing it. It's just a case of consistency and how long you are able to be diligent. And at the end of the day, the most consistent person wins. The person who shows up every day, who keeps grinding, even if it's an average level of effort, will always outplay someone who does high effort, high output 2 days of the week, 3 days of the week. It's not even comparable. The person who does an average amount of effort 7 days of the week will always beat that person. And that's another, rule of reality, I believe. And on top of that, it's also a good thing. It means that you don't have to kill yourself every day doing all this stuff. You just have to do a decent amount every day. You have to have 100 average days after you're unemployed. And you just need to continue to buckle down and grind it out. And eventually it will get better and you'll get your head up again. You'll get on your feet again. Someone will help you because they see what you're doing and they see the effort you're putting in. And you will also manifest that physiologically. You'll stand up straighter. You'll be able to talk better. You will be able to explain things better. And that will come across in your interviews. That will come across when you're talking to people. That will come across in your emails before and after job interviews. All of these things will help you to achieve the success that you're looking for. Create fake work hours for yourself. Put down 8-hour blocks of time per day where you would normally be working if you're unemployed, and you need to be working on your side hustle. You need to be working on some projects that will help you. You also need to be applying to, I'd say, a minimum of 20 jobs per day. Ideally, if you really want to bust a gut on this, do 50. Just do massive volume. That's the only thing that's going to work in like this reality. There are so many people applying to so many jobs, and there are so many people that are unemployed right now that you need to be just sending your resume out en masse. And if you aren't getting responses and you're not getting feedback, that means something's off. That means maybe your resume isn't formatted well. Put it through ChatGPT, show it to other people. Maybe the coloring's off. Maybe you can engage people better with some sort of starter bio or a snippet. Maybe you can reorganize things so your experience comes before your schooling. Or if your schooling is really, really high caliber, it goes right before your experience. You need to be catching people. It's like a video. You need to have a hook at the front, and then you need to have the content after. You need to be able to express how you are extremely valuable and that passing up on you would be a mistake. And that's how you get hired. On top of that, you need to be going to the gym every day. And I know this might be a bit much, but the amount of stress that being unemployed puts you under is insane. It's like being crushed by 1,000 tons of bricks. You need to be able to diffuse that stress and be in a balanced place so you are functional and not depressed when you do get an interview or things do start to work out for you, because that is what will kill your momentum. So you need to be practicing perseverance and balance and calmness, even though everything is going wrong. You need to be in a place where you believe in yourself. And the easiest way to believe in yourself is to do hard things every day, like going to the gym, because your actions will manifest into the person that you are, and people will see it. They will smell it. There is like a physiological sense that humans have. Like, you know, when a really competent person walks in a room, you can tell, like, the whole air shifts. People go quiet. Like, the entire vibe is different, and nothing was probably spoken. It's like entirely nonverbal. That is what you need to be developing, essentially. In the words of Shanks from One Piece, if the path you are on is too easy, you are on the wrong path. Again, if the path you are on is too easy, then you are on the wrong path. Life is not supposed to be easy. A good life well lived, is filled with struggles. No one respects a hero that didn't go through hard times. Getting fired is an opportunity. If you have gotten fired, it is probably the opportunity of a lifetime. You need to reframe the situation in your mind. It's not hell. Your life isn't over. Everything's not going to go to shit now. You are going to have an immense amount of time to do soul searching, rip out the rotting and horrid parts of your personality and your being that have been plaguing you and probably caused you to get into this situation, whether it be your lack of observation skills, your lack of understanding social cues. Maybe you didn't have great EQ and that was why it kind of led to that situation. Or maybe it was just like you don't have the skills to get reemployed quickly. Like, all of these things are observations that you can make, and they're all things that are in your control. Remember, you got this. You need to, if it's not working, double down, triple down. Once you get to triple down, if it's still not working, you try something different. You try a different approach. If you're putting in all the hard work and you are being consistent and you are being disciplined and it's not working, that means your approach is wrong. It doesn't mean your effort is wrong. It doesn't mean all the things you're doing are for nothing and useless. It just means you're approaching things wrong. It's like the old Dilbert cartoon of that guy trying to climb over that massive brick wall, and then the other guy just walks around it. You need to walk around the wall. You need to think outside of the box. You need to try different things. And guess what? That will allow you to be in an even better place afterwards than you were before you got fired. Before, when you were at that shitty job, or you were at that job that didn't respect you or wouldn't take you seriously, you will get to a place where people will, and the job will, and you'll be paid more probably, and you'll be compensated more, and they will understand your competence in a way that the old corporation couldn't. So that is a critical aspect of upgrading and improving, coming back from this. And just remember, consistency combined with improvement always works. It always works. You might have had hard times. You might have had situations where you thought you were going to die. But if you are here breathing, that means you have experienced failures and survived. You are not dead, which means it was a success. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. It is feedback from the universe telling you something. And if you are not ready to hear it, you are not going to improve and you are not going to get better. And the same things are going to replay over and over in your life. Every stage of your life, there are similar themes and similar challenges that come about. And if you are not willing to improve and upgrade yourself, you will respond to those challenges in the same way you did before, and you will get the same results. If you want to change your life, you have to change who you are. And I know it's hard. I know you're in a rut, but you can do this. I believe in you. You know, I'm not like some boomer who's like, just go out and apply and put your resume on their desk and they'll hire you. Like, the world doesn't work like that anymore. Don't be deluded. You need to put in immense amounts of effort to be reemployed, especially if you have a stain on your record like unemployment. And I did it. So you can do it too. I believe in you. The place I'm in right now is so much better than when I was in that hole. And on top of that, when I was at that old company. So just continue to invest in yourself, invest in your skills, and you will never have this happen again. And on top of that, your life will be better for it. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this content and you want to watch more self-improvement content, be sure to drop a sub on the channel. And I hope that things work out for you. Honestly, I know they'll work out for you. They worked out for me and I didn't even think they would. So it is you might not believe it, but You need to just put in the effort, continue to improve, and you will watch your life transform. I promise you. Have a great day. Thank you for watching, and you got this. This is the starting point of the rest of your life where you become the person you want to be. So I want you to thank your lucky stars this happened. I know it doesn't seem like it was luck or a good thing, but I promise you it is. That's how I think about it. That's how a lot of people think about it, actually. And you just need time. Process it, and time to improve, and time to get to a better place. But once you are in a better place, you will look back and you will realize that was the point in time where everything changed for you, and you got to reformat yourself to a point where you were way better and you were such a higher caliber of person. And I am so excited for the caliber of person you're going to become. So have a great day. Thank you for watching.